talk about the long neck? I don't want to talk about the long neck. I have to talk about the long neck. We're going to read about the long neck. Welcome back to Hill House 1968, where you guys get to enjoy my traumatic paranormal experiences in my childhood home. We are picking up in the big story, the one that still scares the absolute shit out of me. And I'm going to read an email that I sent to my therapist. That place was pure evil. We dealt with demon children, men watching us from the hall, a night hag sleep paralysis demon, a golem-like flesh and bones creature living under the basement stairs, a room that glowed red, an electric poltergeist, a Jack Torrance effect on my father, demonic cult activity and worship and sacrifice of pets in the forest, drums in the deep, visions of blood, random and complete bug infestations, and the long neck, a creature I only saw with my eyes once, but to this day sends me into a cold terror. It would come at night. The night hag would subdue the family into nightmares, and then the long neck would come. It stalked around our house, looking at our things. It would try and put them back, but never seemed to get things in the exact right place. We'd wake up and our house would be slightly shifted. The back door would be open, and large, strange tracks would lead back to the forest. My brother stayed up a lot and said he saw a monster come into our home at night, so I decided to stake out and catch it. I laid in the living room with the TV on quiet and pretended to sleep on the couch, but there was no way I was sleeping that night. My heart pounded, and my limbs buzzed. My head swam. I was hunting a monster. So I don't know what time it was, but it had to be around 3 a.m. because I remember The Munsters was on TV, and it aired at 3. I heard the back door open in the basement. I heard the basement stairs creak under some enormous weight. The TV flickered and turned to silent static. I positioned myself to look sleeping, but so I could see the room plainly through my lashes, mouth open, body limp. I wasn't acting for a human this time. I needed to look good while still being able to see. This was before phones had video recorders, so this stakeout was like a primal girl waiting in the forest for the creature that kept terrorizing her village. Part 3 of The Long Neck coming soon. Alright, let's pick up where we left off on The Long Neck. I then heard another set of steps coming up. The stair creeper followed whatever the monster was. Were these two friends? Then it came out of the kitchen, and I had to hold in a scream that I still haven't let out. It boils in my stomach to this day. The creature stood at least 8 feet tall, from toe to crown. It had 4 limbs, 2 back legs, and 2 front leg arm things, with long grabby hands with pointed fingers. I remember it didn't have thumbs, so that was why things weren't placed back right. The skin was leathery like an elephant and black as night. It had a mane of hair that grew down its neck and back that flowed in the air like watery black strands of smoke. Its neck was long, at least 1.5 yards, and thick. It seemed to have no joints, as the creature had to swoop its neck at the shoulders to look at anything, making the movements of this beast circular and unbalanced to watch. It had a large gaping mouth, like a canine with a serpentine tongue that licked at our things as it inspected our family photos, books, knickknacks, and other things in our home. It wasn't interested in our furniture, TV, or other regular things found in every house. It wanted to inspect our personal belongings. I don't remember if it had eyes. If it did, they were as black as its skin. The room only had 1 lamp on, and I was looking through my lashes. Once it finished with our things, it stalked over to me on the couch. I had to control myself to keep my breaths even, but I couldn't stop my racing heart as it bent down so close to my face I could feel nothing but its putrid, hot breath. It smelled of, I'd say, 3-day-old corpses in the sun, with a hint of dirt and maple syrup. Then it went back the way it came, and I heard it lead the stair crawler, who'd stayed in the kitchen, back downstairs. I didn't sleep that night. I think I vomited from fear. In the morning, Dad found our basement door wide open. The tracks were back. I never stayed outside of my bedroom at night again. I still don't. My husband tries to get me to do things out there at night when I'm alone by enticing me with video games and stuff. I could only do those in the living room, but I won't do it most of the time. As much as we like to think our homes are safe, there's things out there we don't understand yet, and no, it's not safe out there. Part 4 of The Long Neck coming shortly. Alright, let's pick up right where we left off in The Long Neck. I don't tell this story often. I believe it was an alien. There's alien sightings all over that area, and my grandma talked about being abducted, and my papa saw some weird shit with lights in the sky, freezing time, and grandma. I think whatever makes Hell House so evil has attracted the studies of some terrifying unknown species that I happened to catch one night on my couch. My brother saw it too, and he drew it. It was exactly as I remembered it. I'll see if I can find that piece for you. Here is my rendition of The Long Neck. This is too short because the page wasn't big enough, but so you can kind of understand the physiology of what I'm trying to describe. My brother drew one too. Hold on. Okay, this is my description of how it swooped, the movements it made. And the neck is more correct to the dimensions here. And here is my brother's rendition. He's much better at drawing creatures than I am. I don't know what this thing was. I don't. I hope I never see it again. And I've never heard of anyone describing anything that sounded like this creature. So, if anyone in the paranormal or UFO community has heard of something like the Long Neck, please, 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 please get in contact with me, because the paranormal stuff in Hell House I can deal with. The Long Neck still scares the absolute fuck out of me, and I need to figure out what it is, because I'm afraid of the unknown. The only things that truly scare me are the unknown, and this fucker is extremely unknown. So, help a girl out. Help me find this beast. And here's the drawing that I referenced that my brother did of the Long Neck, and it's so cute. He remembered exactly how the living room was set up. He's obviously laying on the couch right there. Yeah. What is that? Does anybody know what that is? Help. I'm not. I just want to find anyone who knows what this is. I may or may not have started the entire Hell House series in the hopes that anyone would know what it is. There's over 1,000 of you. Please help. Has anybody seen this monster? For it haunts me, and I must know. Sorry, the Long Neck really fucks me up, and I was hoping that anyone would have had any input or insight, and so far, crickets. And I just want to know. It's like a burning sensation in my brain. Like every night it could be out there if I don't figure out what it is and how to stop it from maybe being out there again. I haven't seen it since then, but that doesn't mean shit. There's monsters out there. In the night. In the dark. And I just want to know. Hi guys, I had to wait a few days to tell this story because I didn't want to scare my family on a holiday. But now everybody has been informed of what happened, and I can post about it. Thanksgiving night, as you know, I stayed with my family, and I saw someone for the first time in 12 years that used to reside in Hell House. Suddenly, I was just there, eating my turkey, and I looked up, and there was a man standing in the dining room, wearing a brown suit and a bowler hat, just staring at us with his hands clasped to his sides. And I got pissed. Not scared. Angry that he dared come out of Hell House to stand in my family home on a holiday. So I didn't say anything. I just got up, and when I stood up, the man in the bowler hat shifted back a few feet, as if he had taken a step back, which didn't really occur to me until later what that really means. But I stormed over there, opened the back door, and told him to get the fuck out of our house. And he did. I didn't see him again that night. I even wandered around at night when everyone was asleep and just felt stuff out. I could kind of feel him looming, but I couldn't see him. So I think he was outside. So, then I was laying there trying to go to sleep, and it occurred to me, I scared the man in the bowler hat. He stepped back from me. And that is really cool. But I talked to my family members, and they said that they'd been feeling watched, like an overwhelming sense of being watched and an impression, which is what the man in the bowler hat feels like. And now that the holiday is over, I have warned all of them, and when I was there, I put up wards on my brother's room, so at least he would be safe, because I know how to keep the man in the bowler hat out of a room. But I think he was there because my mom, we visited Hell House on Halloween, and I think he followed her. Thank you for leaving this comment, because it gives me an opportunity to answer some questions that a lot of people have been having lately because of the influx of new followers. Hell House is in Kansas City, Missouri, and that is all I will say about its location, because there is a family that lives there currently that I do not know, that is unaware that this little story time event is happening, and I don't want to Amityville horror all over their life. So until they naturally find us and realize that their house has an axe buried in their front yard, and they live 3 houses from a dead-end street, they have to come to me first and make it okay for me to reveal where Hell House is, because it's not my home anymore. But if you're trying to research anything that might affect the area, because there is a lot that happened in the area of Hell House, the area you should be looking into is Kansas City, Missouri, north of the river, not south. That has a whole different, lore to it. But as long as you're looking at lore of Kansas City North, you're going to be all right. But I really don't want to hurt a little family. They've got kids, and having looky-loos coming around, poking around, asking them questions about demons and stuff that they might not even realize is why their house acts that way. Like, they might not have any clue that they're living in a haunted house. I don't want to ruin their lives or cause them any grief. But it's not Ohio. And if anyone knows anything about the long neck, please let me know. Alrighty guys, are you ready for another Hell House video? I can't believe how far we've gotten. Now we're on The Worst Night, which I am also going to read for you. My mom called me into the house to eat dinner. We sat down at the TV to watch Buffy together. My brother took his dinner into his room, and my dad took his to the basement. Soon, Orders from the Dead seeped up into the first floor where we sat. I remember it was in the blue hour in the summer. I went to the bathroom and started hallucinating the blood again, which hadn't happened since the girl came over and bled everywhere. As I came out of the bathroom to alert my mom, my brother came running from his room and said the white thing let the man in the bowler hat into his room. The next thing that happened I can't really explain. It was so over the top and frightening, no one has believed me save for the other neighbors who experienced it. The house began to breathe, creaking like a ship, and the air undulated with a strange thickness. The drums in the deep began, and quickly overwhelmed the TV volume. Then a deep, ominous groan, too deep to be a person, joined the drums on the air. My mom gathered me and my brother up and grabbed some lawn chairs. We went across the street to the neighbor's yard. Our neighbors across the street were already in their yard. They had 2 young children and were terrified of the things in the house their parents couldn't see, so they had them playing outside. Soon, our next-door neighbors joined us in the yard across the street due to the constant banging of doors and flying objects in their house. A few more families arrived with their own stories of dark corners, engulfing rooms, the stair-crawler chasing them out of their home, and a young dog who mysteriously died after freaking out. We all gathered in the yard and street, watching the houses. All of a sudden, my next-door neighbor let out a shriek and pointed above Hill House. Everyone looked up and gasped. A huge black mass of what looked like clouds of shadow were looming high out of the forest, with reaching arms and a blank but defined face bearing down to wrap around Hill House. Everyone screamed. The drums and the deep groaning escaped the houses, emanating in the air all around us. I'm ashamed to say, I ran, barefoot, all the way up the street, several blocks, to my best friend's house, who did not live in the dead end, who was not experiencing anything. I wept in her arms, and she gave me ice cream. We're going to need a part 2. Welcome back. We're picking up on part 2 of The Worst Night. I ended up staying the night at my friend's house, but I still had horrid nightmares of waking in my bed at Hell House to see a copy of myself in a dress with darker hair and no face. She wanted to stab me with her long pointed fingers. I could feel she was actually a man and not me at all. I ran from her out of the house, where I saw the long neck waiting at the dead end. I ran up the street towards my friend's house in a dreamy sludge. All the while, the girl chased me. I finally turned around and commanded the girl to show me who she really was. She exploded into the black cloud man rising high above me, and I screamed, waking my friend up. Not wanting to be weak, I decided to do something about it. I spent the day diligently working on an art piece that symbolized me stabbing the girl with a blade of power that only a human could wield, forcing my intent into the drawing. Then I took the drawing back into the woods with my wooden training katana from my dad and took my shirt and bra off, confronting the entity like an intimidating lady pirate, with my tits out, sword in one hand, drawing in the other. While the normal hauntings continued, nothing like the worst night ever happened again while I lived there. Now let's see if I can find you that picture. Give me just a sec. There it is. Took this back into the woods. And then after that, I would lay it on the floor in my doorway every night so that nothing could get into my room even if it got really bad. And I still have this picture. It's kept very safely. Let's see if I can find it. Going over to the bookcase. Here we are. Uh-huh. Dun, 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 dun. Look at how nice I've been able to keep it. That's me. even though we are nearing or at the end of our stay in Hell House, we're not even close to the end of our journey through the stories of Hell House, because when we lost it, the house did not let us go. So don't worry, there's still more to come. And if you'd like to support me, please click the link in my bio. I'll be releasing my first reading of one of my works this Friday. Have a great day. And if you're wondering, yes, I am stalling on Hill House, because I've been having a really good time with you guys. And we're about to move out of Hill House and into the research part of the story and see how Hell House didn't let us go. I don't want to leave yet, so let's just sit together in Hell House for a little bit more time. What has been your guys' favorite stories so far? I'd really like to know. My favorites. I never really thought about what my favorites are. The long neck is my favorite to just the end with, but it wasn't my favorite at the time. The red lights is tried and true, oldie but goodie. Known that one my whole life. It's a really good campfire story because it's not so scary that you can't tell it to kids. So the red lights is really versatile. I think my favorite would have to be the ticking clocks. It just happened to me and my sister, who experienced it with me one night, and it made me feel closer to my grandma. And it was kind of a way for me to own my own bedroom. So I like the ticking clocks. What's been your guys' favorite Hell House story yet? Don't worry, this isn't the end of Hell House. It's just the end of our time together in Hell House, and not ready to move out again. So let's just sit here together for a little bit longer. How's that sound? Talk about it. Let's give the house the farewell it deserves before we move on to the next chapter in this story. Alrighty, it's time. In 2009, my parents could not handle the ways that Hell House had driven them both insane, and they couldn't handle each other anymore. So they got a divorce right after my paternal grandmother died of cancer. My dad moved into her house, and we suddenly didn't have any income on our side of the family, because my mom had been a stay-at-home mom for years, since I'd been a tiny child, and was not sure how to get back into the workforce. So we ended up, the house, Hell House, went into foreclosure, and we had to find an apartment. And with 3 days left before they were going to kick us out on the street, me and my mom found us an apartment that was in the school district we wanted. And my mom gave me and my brother and my friend Sharpies, and we spent a day writing the entire history of what that house meant to us and what we had experienced in it, all on the walls of the house. The entire house was filled with stories and anecdotes and pieces of our lives, from floor to ceiling, every room. Writing covered every wall. And that's how we left Hell House. Was we didn't have time to get all of our things out, so we just abandoned it, filled with our things and our memories. And I have no clue how long it sat like that, but I know it was empty and abandoned with our stuff in it for at least 2 years. So, and I know this because I used to break into the house to go sit in it when it was empty, and all of our stuff was still there. All of our writing was still there. Everything that we had left was sitting just as it had been. And our next few tales are going to be about our time in the new apartment and the things that happened to me when I would break back into Hell House. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and check back on a few of my videos on Hell House. I haven't gotten any comments. What's your guys' favorite stories? I really want to know.